I'm just a woman. Help me believe all I can be and all that I am. Show me the stairway that I have to climb. So for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time. One day at a time. See Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. Give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. But help me today, show me the way, one day at a time. Do you remember when you walked among men? With Jesus, you know, if you're looking below, it's worse now than then. Cheating, stealing, and violence and crime. So for my sake, teach me to take one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. See Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. Give me the strength. Give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone. Sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Tomorrow may never be mine. But help me today. Say, show me the way, one day at a time. Say, yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. See Jesus, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me, Lord, help me today. Show me the way, one day at a time. I say, yesterday's gone. Sweet Jesus, and tomorrow may never be.
Sorry, foi close.
May never be mine. Help me today. Show me the way, one day at a time. Oh Lord, help me today. Help me today. Show me. Oh, show me. One day at a time. Lord, help me today. Show me the way, one day at a time.
Nā wongo I pē ke whahoko atu e ki foi whasi ko ia one day at a time. Ko uhinga fu mahu inga o pito ia ki e anga ko ia e tau wongo i whakalau maari o e si poti ko au si wakrivai fua whatongi atu mei Salt Lake City, Utah. Polokalama ko ia ko e Tongan Youth Athletes, he? Pe koe koe si poti ko ia e tau whanau. Whamore more pe tonga mo e vulanga toa pe, kai tuku pe ki mau talatala no atu. Polokalama ko ni e ngai whai e ngai whotutu, ke highlight atu ai e tau whanau. I e taimi lolo tonga a whoki uku kei kamakamata ai ngai tōu vai ngā ko e Salt Lake City i e taimi ni na whakaawa ai tau ko ia e ngai high school i e wike kua osi. E pea ku na whotu e a ko e ahoni ki he kakai toko lahi. School started today. Many people started to go to school. You know, it's slowly coming to normal. You know, and we are excited about the sports season coming up in high school. I believe, and Frank would follow up on that. I believe Utah just started their first game last weekend. I just got here from Hawaii. Hawaii is in trouble right now. And, you know, Frank is sad that Hawaii have postponed their season to September 24. And if you, some of you may not know, but Hawaii did not have a high school season last season. You know, they postponed it like they do now, and then they postponed it again to like January, and then eventually after that it canceled. The whole week was the whole season last season was canceled. So it affected a lot of the seniors last year. I feel bad for them because in Hawaii they had no season. They had to rely on the junior year, and you know, and even affected the juniors last year because they're seniors now, and junior year, Frank, as we know, is what kind of set off or set the tone and start the recruiting to come their way. And right now, many families in Hawaii starting to think, if it's going to postpone again when we get back. Because in Hawaii, they say that everybody is mandatory to be vaccinated, to take the shot, You have no choice. You have to. I mean, talking about coaches, players, volunteers, everybody that is involved. And not only that, but the whole entire state have to be at least 75% vaccinated. Otherwise, no season. And that put a lot of us in. And I'm in the process of trying to find out the rules here in Utah and California of transferring students if they can. I know it's kind of late, but I'm not sure. But I think by next week, they will know more about it. Ko ia ai fu ongo ilahi au pito ke whanau spoti tau te fito ke akapulu wha Amerika Hawaii ko toloi ko ia to uwa inga na whai be patoe kai ke whawa inga o hange ko tau kōsi aia tene maui pe tene uesia ai whainga maari o tamai ki to uwa inga tau kōsi mo tauni ke nau mau ha scholarship ke hoko atu ke kōrisi kai tuku mua ke introduce at Beau ko si wa griva nga nau lave ki ai fai fatongi at me Salt Lake City, Utah today, and I want to have my co-host here introduce himself, even though we're here all the time, but just for the sake of you new people that will probably tune in later. Whamalo atu ki a Malakai Mahe, ko e tōtaha whokeni Frank, kaunga tāma ki maupe e coach ko e Agapuwha Amerika i Tonga, taimi ko toa ko i ai. Malakai ka pau ke lava mau e link, pa ke hu mai ke whai maha ngongo ki Tonga. Whamore more, ko ena ko e link ena ko e pe ID, pe a moe coach, passcode ti, ka pau te ke alo pe ke ho Zoom, o whapena ko download te Zoom, ke enda pe IT mo passport ka ke si humai whakawike ke ta tala noa pa bebe whakimani na whai whakawhiki ai. Frank, I'll turn the time to you. Malo?
No, it's this COVID. It's Sawaki coach. It's so political now. With the way the world and in particularly the U.S. has viewed a lot of this COVID. Unfortunately, it is political, and what people don't understand when President Trump was in, he initiated and made it private. He privatized. And then when the new regime came in, they took all the credit for it. So that right side, unfortunately, even though we don't like to go into politics and stuff, the right side are the ones that are bucking it. And it was President Trump that initiated it.
Yeah.
Let's get everyone vaccinated so we can get back to normal and suffice all these CDC sanctions. Hey, Coach?
Yeah.
I had an opportunity. Sorry, Coach, I'm late. I had an opportunity to sit down with George Tonga. His son got drafted by the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
And I was sitting there and breaking bread with him at one of the establishments up here called King Buffet.
Uh-huh.
And not really going into details, but he was just telling me the process, how they went from high school and how this kid thrived and the story. There's always a story, and then unbeknownst to him, they're having contract issues, so he got to start against Miami.
Great.
And then and has been working Kairos Tonga. He's been working quite a bit to get into that rotation, and now they've got some. This is a business, so they're in negotiations with impending players that have been there, and Hakeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, and Goldman. Some of these are some Pro Bowl players that are working out contract issues, but Kairos has been able to step in and take upon that double team so those guys can get a sack each last week against Miami. But, this is a football induced program, and, we are just not navigators. We are also warriors. Yeah. And it amazes me that I sit down and I speak to Sone Fehoku and all these alumni from Kahuku, and how Kahuku really stands out as a little high school, if you will, on the North Shore in the country, just pumping out talent even to this day. David Mahi and his boys, at the Ohio State University, Inoke. Is that Inoke that's over there?
Yes.
And then you've got the son. I knew Devita from back in the day when he was over at BYU, and it's just unbelievable how the kids, even Brad and Nye's son, that's over there at the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Fehoku kid, Simi, out of Stanford. He's over there with the Dallas Cowboys also. And it's crazy how this works and whatever state you come from, but it always evolves back. The story always goes back to Kahuku.
There's so many here that trace back, whether it's Vice Kahema or Kalani Sitake, Rino Mahe, all of those were their parents, were with us in Laie in Kahuku, Hawaii. They were on their way to be a Red Raider, before they moved here. And it's amazing, how many people that could have been there, and so much more. But, a lot of people do not know that Kahuku High School is less than 1,000 students.
Wow.
Because remember, we are intermediate and high school. That's why we are at 1,500. Yeah, because of the 7th and 8th graders, but and those are the big classes. So, and back it was even worse than that. So, uh, it's such a small. I think if we were to play here in Utah, according to the number of students, I think we'll be in division 3, 4, or 5. I'm not sure how the division here, according to the sizes of the school, you know. But
Yeah.
but that's the type of athletes. When I was coaching, I basically have to choose all my players from a little over 400 boys, all high school boys, you
Wow.
know. So and I dress up 200 boys. So that's basically almost half of all the boys in the high school played football.
You know,
Man,
it's funny when Billy and Linda packed their bags and went into the city, and Braden, all the boys, VJ, all of them were a part of that rich tradition.
yeah.
And now Braden is worked himself out of the practice squad into the 53-man squad and is thriving and is taking advantage of all these. But that I'm telling you, if you look at these NFL guys that have been touched by Laie Kahuku in some sort, it astounds you, to think about that. But it is what it is.
And they say, when they left, uh, all over, whether it's Kamehameha, whether it's Manti Te'o and Punahou, they were always and always will be Red Raider. They always hold that part because their parents do. And, the amazing story, Frank, when I had Manti Te'o as a freshman, he played at Kahuku, and at the end of the junior varsity season, he was one of the boys that I brought up, to the varsity and had a chance to play at the state game in Hawaii, but when I left, that's when they left, but when I retired. But yeah, it's amazing the number of boys that were, part of it, and I think they will always be. I mean, in Utah here, there is a lot of Kahuku ties, but they will always be talking about Red Raiders, always coming home for big games and stuff,
Coach, what's that slogan? Once a Red Raider, always a Red Raider.
Go ahead.
Is that what they?
Yeah, and when I started the slogan of Red Raider for Life in '96, it kind of grew out from there. Now there's something for life all over the world. Started from Red Raider for Life. And I was I had my reason why I had to say that because of the many Kahuku that was not in Kahuku, not only out in the mainland, but in St. Louis, in Punahou, Kamehameha, Kailua, other schools were taking a whole bunch of the talent, and yet we were still able to be successful with whoever was left behind,
Right.
And I think that speaks a lot for the type of people and program that we had out there at Kahuku. For mo at beke he kainga, na kai ke uhinga eni ko a polokalama pena Kahuku, ka kuki yafet be matala noa ki ai. Ka kautui, I'm not sure how much Frank is familiar with that, but seems like there's a lot of ties I know from my Kahuku guys at Timview right now, even though they have others spread out I Utah, pea mo California foki, e tamaiki tu ki mua keke, e unau I ngai polo kalama keke, pea o kei pe whakaamu, I ngai polo kalama koe ni, te maulava ke highlighti atu, pe talanoa atu ki hangai nice stories of some of these people who have made it. You know, ko tu e ako me ai e ni ai ngai matua o ku kei whainga e nau whanau, ke na wao ke ngai tuunga. You know, this is a good platform to have stories like the Tonga that you have just spoke with. You know, when these guys come and tell the stories, I think it will benefit a lot of parents. I go now whanongo mai, because a lot of Tongan parents will be every year, Frank, they experience the recruiting way. You know, we talked about last week with David Vimahi, you know, how some of the recruiting is going to be new to a lot of the new parents whose their kids finally get to the level of home visit by the high school coaches, you know, to recruit their sons, you know, or whoever, their daughters for whatever sports. Some tips can be given here to help, you know, these parents understand the whole routine of recruiting. Okay, I was hoping.
You know,
yeah,
Coach Alema Fatisa Manu and his wife have a forum. I have a platform to help individuals get to college too. Kind of similar to what David Vimahi is doing over there. To kind of enlighten, if you will, those individuals that have students that are looking to clear themselves to a D1 college. And I think it's great. Congratulations to David Vimahi and what he's doing over at Kahuku. And that there's quite a bit of people that are doing it and that are reaching these grassroots programs. But folks, do not give up. There is programs there. You just have to be proactive in initiating some things, small things, to move forward. And if there's a question, that's why Coach has this forum, is to give you that information that you probably will not be familiar with, and give you a platform that you can utilize in your particular areas, wherever you are in the United States or throughout the world, if you're trying to get your child to a college.
You know, Frank, it's funny, and nowadays high school, you know, including Kahuku, are hiring people to take care of different ones. When I was coaching, I was everything. You know, I was the recruiter, I was the tutor, you know, I was the teacher, the coach, and fundraiser, you know, all of those things. Not just only me, all the coaches, all of those were on them. You know, deal with parents, you know, academic, you know, everything. I ran the study hall. You know, and it was easier for me because I was a math teacher already at Kahuku. So I ran the study hall for all my football players. Of course, I put the knuckleheads in my classroom to deal with me. You know, I mean, I did not assign them to tutors, because the reason why they mess up, because they run around circles on regular teachers. And when you bring tutors, they're even worse, you know. So, you know, I picked that, for lack of better language, the worst 30 people was in my room, because I know who they are. I know exactly who's who. You know, they sit right there in my room. They know their assignment, and they deal with me. So, the other guys that was a little better, I assigned them to different other rooms. But basically, I have taken, I hate to talk about myself, but when I started in 96, I started bringing groups to the summer camp. Ron McBride's camp, I would bring 80 to 100 every summer. I would bring about 50 to 60 of my own boys, and Kamehameha and St. Louis and different school parents would call me, and I'm the parent for their kids, teenage boys, over at, we would have a whole floor, at camp at Ron McBride, and take care of that. Coach A. Anderson and all those guys were all at the time there. Steve Kafusi, the whole 9 yards. So I did all of that on my off season. I would take all the players from Hawaii to the different camps, BYU, Utah. Then we went to, SC, UCLA, different camps, and trying to further our knowledge, not just me as a coach, but also to bring the players from Hawaii to compare with the United States, to broaden their knowledge. I wanted my coaches every 2 years to come on my camp so that they update their knowledge, and I believe it had a big part of the success that we had in Kahuku.
Well, one of the things, Coach, that I think resonates now is because you're able to do that, people are able to have platforms. And, they got specialty positions. So, it was funny how you said that.
Unmute unmute, Frank, we can't hear you. Good.
It's the pioneers like yourself that have set the standards because, now they've unbundled everything. Before you had to do it all, Coach, Now it's all a specialty. Everything is specialty now.
Yeah. When before I became a head coach, I already started to bring, because I saw the camp that was starting, Maake Kemoeatu, Sape, a lot of those boys I brought when they were at their senior year. And that's how they ended up in Utah. I brought them to the camp, and they got them introduced to the coaches to really get to see them. Because back in Hawaii, I'm talking 1996 season, the recruiting wasn't that heavy over to Hawaii, and if they do, they mostly come to St. Louis. But when I exposed these boys and, to face with coaches and get to see them and then to work with them, and, that helped them to know who they are coming to recruit. Instead of watching only film and trusting what I'm saying, they already had a chance to have hands-on, to see what these guys are capable of doing. I had, a lot of the boys that we brought over to the state. We fundraise, we do a lot of stuff to get over here. And, that brings me to how fortunate the boys that are in state, Frank, because they have all kind of camps all around them. And even just in driving distance to California, if they want to go outside of the camps here. Whereas in Hawaii, majority of time, we didn't have a Hawaii camp, and we are limited with what we have back home, So in order for us to step it up, the parents and us coaches have to do a lot of work in order to make it happen. So I guess with that point, for the parents here, take advantage of all the different opportunities that you have around you. I wish Chris Kemoeatu join us today so he can talk about some of the scholarships for the young ones and the special training that is happening in in California right now. But at this time, I'll take a break here and play a number. Those of you who with us, whamore o share atu mua e tau ki polo kalama, ko inga ke kau mai ki ai hani, e te anga tau pōpō lawe, whamore kai tuku kai e taimira tau pe te utata i atu a wangi whasi.
Sila Melua! Ai! Oe, tawa na sila Melua. Bota tawa sila Melua. Mea ko goste tai. Maro hi sila Melua. Mani te mai.
Frank, in the future, with 15 minutes that's left on today's program, I think starting next week, Frank, I'm going to start naming some of the outstanding boys or some of the boys here in Utah. I think I'm going to go this weekend and follow up, maybe watch a game or two so that I can start reporting some of the boys in different games. This weekend there's going to be at least some high school games, believe some NFL games, and I'm not sure when college game kickoff. Frank, maybe you know about it. I kind of been out of the loop, but I think next week program I am going to start reporting different Tongan athletes that are out there, just so that we get familiar with their names and get to know a little more who they are. So I'm going to invite all of you out there to please represent your area so that you can bring some names every week about the people that we should be watching for. When I watch college games, Frank, I just follow some of the teams that most of our Tongan boys participated in, because I like to know more and to follow up more of what they're doing. So I'm inviting the most of you, please look out this weekend and bring in 3 or 4 names so we can highlight them. And it's a public awareness for our people to push their name through, especially in high school level. If you do have some names so we can start promoting them, we can do a lot because we have a network with people that have ties to so many colleges all over the United States. Right, Frank?
Yes. Yes, Coach. Jeff Kafusi's son had 3 touchdowns for Alta.
Wow.
Unfortunately, he had an injury and will be out for a little while.
Wow.
But the brother Isaiah is he made a 4th down stop with the Baltimore Colts.
Wow.
Indianapolis Colts back in the, so yeah, there's some kids that are really stepping up and doing some things. And you're right. I think it's one of those things we need to talk about those kids, their upcoming future.
Yeah, I'm also trying to gather the active NFL Tongan players that is out there in the league right now. I know it changes from time to time, but we should have a pretty good idea of who's who, because our people would like to know so they can see what game. Every weekend they have a choice of what game to watch. And I think for us, letting them know our boys that are out there, like Braden Fehoko, out there in LA, and some of the other boys. It really helped for us to network our boys, so that our people are familiar with it. It also encourages the young one to follow through and to see, the work that they need to get done. And I think that's why I wanted to put this and I think I'm gonna do it in English, because it's more for the youth and for us, and most parents, we already speaking Tongan. So I might move this program to be on Monday evening, I'm talking like 9 o'clock Utah time. So it's
Yes.
more later in the evening when people are, I think, more at home. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
maybe even 10 o'clock, So that way I can, I think I'm leaning toward that. I think 10
I
o'clock
like it.
Monday night, Utah time, people probably get home from practice, or more people available, and will be done in English, so we can start to build that platform, to play this out from. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to a few people on how to swing it that route. Yeah, but I appreciate every time you come on, because it helps us to build this. And I know once the season is going, even a 2 hour, 1 hour and a half to 2 hour won't be enough, because there'll be so many names to be reported. I mean, from Hawaii to California to Utah, in all different levels, from the youth level to the high school, college, and NFL. And we don't want to. We probably only can talk about a handful of names every week. And we know we got hundreds of them out there. And not only just the boys. I would like to ask some women to represent some of our girls who participate in the in Utah. Are we on volleyball season right now, like Hawaii for the girls, or is it basketball season?
I think it's both. I think it's that both sports are this time. Maybe basketball closer now. Volleyball is maybe just a little later.
Yeah, well,
As
we'll go into it, because we like to highlight a girl or two every week as well. I don't want the women to feel left out, and I don't want to focus on football only, because I know that there'll be other sports that some of our Tongan boys are available in. And you know what? I'm also going to have a back-to-back. Not only the Tongan youth athletes, but I'm going to have the Polynesian tapase, Polynesian athletes, student and academic, because we also have that program. So that way we can highlight all our Polynesian, other Polynesian kids as well. So I'm going to put these two programs back to back, and I am looking at Monday at 9 o'clock.
Perfect.
I think
Good.
put those 3 hours together, and I'll have an hour and a half for the Tongan youth athletes, and then an hour and a half for the Polynesian athletes of the anyway. But anyway, I'll give you this time for any closing remarks that you might have before we close. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Coach. I just wanted to just kind of reiterate for these parents that are out there looking to get their kids, whether it be academic or football scholarships, whatnot. There's so many resources out there. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Coaches put this platform out there for us to gain more public notice, information for those people that are not familiar with what's going on. We've got people in your areas that will help assist and get you in the right frame of mind on how to keep your kid, no matter what, they're students first, the athletes second. So they need to do well in the classroom to be successful on the field or on the court. just grateful for Coach for your sacrifice and your just your love for all of us to be able to have this platform. We've completely, I think everybody's on a summer break mentality. Once we get going, Coach, it'll be thriving and everyone will be in here and get into the information superhighway. Malo Bitovato.
Thank you very much, Frank. I always appreciate your help. And just to let our people out there, especially the Tongan parents, this program was set up so that we can network and get to know your sons and daughters so we can help promote them. We will have a connection of many coaches and former NFL players and former coaches, former players. And like they said, everybody knows somebody that might help. And we're here to cheer on our kids and push them forward. And also we'll have some tips on that you parents are experiencing the new fear of dealing with coaches or recruiters. We'll have training and we'll have people talk about those things, and we'll let you know about anything and everything that we will know that might help us to help our youth stay out of trouble, and to let them know that we do support and we do care and we do are proud of them and what they do. Not everybody's going to be a star, and we understand that, and we're here just to thank them all for the effort, because we know when you are in sports, everything else is aligned. Your academic is aligned, your attitude in school is there, there's extra hands and faces to help you at school, because you're not alone. We're all on this together, because it's not easy, and we're here to pick you up, cheer you on, pick you up when you fall, because we love you and we care about you, because we are the friendly island of Tonga. Malo aupito, ofa tu ke Tonga kotoa pe. Until next week, stay tuned. I'll send the link, and I'm trying to put together this Monday so that we all together on that Malo aupito, ofa tu.
Popo Giai.